And we're back live. I didn't know if I could do this or not. We were back live and seeing the fun and games at the Alex Salmond trial. So we've had a fair bit of information. We've had a bit of information. We've got a bit of information. They're getting harassed here already. A bit of information with regards to this. And it's been one revelation after another. And it's a quite incredible piece of dialogue between Alex Salmond and the tribunal. And effectively what Alex Salmond has said, in particular to the part of his inquiry or his witnessing of this, is that we already knew that the government shouldn't have brought anything forward. The government should not have brought a thing forward to either of these procedures, but yet wanted to ram it through against the wills and the advice of the two legal entities. And it's just been said there, and this is sort of breaking news, just been said there, that the government did not submit the details to the actual Crown Office. And they've just absolutely ignored the legal advice, or didn't even ignore the legal advice, but did not give their legal entity the documentation that should have been given to the actual other legal entity that was representing Alex Salmond. So the whole thing was completely unlawful. And they've just actually filibustered and not allowed the actual movements of the documentation to their lawyers. Hence why Mr Dunlop and I think Cathy O'Neill, QC, both the legal entities that were advising the government were going to resign, had threatened to resign because of this. Oh, it's unbelievable. It's getting worse and worse and worse for this, for Nicola Sturgeon. The whole thing is coming to an end for Nicola Sturgeon, and Leslie Evans. Lord Advocate James Wolfe has also been criticised. The whole thing is falling down around the place. It's unbelievable. So listening to Alex Salmond on Westminster Live was just unbelievable. Unbelievable. For the government not to give the legal documentation to their own legal entity, and then there had to be a commission. This is in the civil. Don't forget, this is in the civil case. There had to be a commission set internally. They had to force their government to actually allow that to actually happen. For them to force the government to give the legal documentation to their own team and also to Alex Salmond's team of lawyers as well. I mean, it's just getting worse and worse. It's like a layer cake, and every layer you take off, the whole thing is just getting worse and worse for Nicola Sturgeon and the civil servants and everybody who's involved. The only one, and Alex Salmond alluded to this as well, the only people that have came off with their sort of reputations, their professional reputations intact are Mr Dunlop QC and Kathleen O'Neill, I think her name was, QC as well. They're the only people who have come out of here with any sort of kudos and any sort of professional integrity and credit. All the rest has been an absolute omnishambles. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And then it starts getting worse. It starts getting worse for the government. Because he then continued, now let me just get this correct, what he continued to say. He was alluding to the fact that there was two trials going on. The civil trial, which he won, that was unlawful, and the other trial, which was the criminal trial that he was up against for the actual charges as a criminal charges. And he said that if Nicola Sturgeon, this is crazy. So if Nicola Sturgeon has gone against the legal entity that said not to bring through these charges, bring these charges to bear, then she's in breach of the ministerial code. So it won't even be that she's breached the ministerial code for not recording the 17 meetings that she didn't record, or that she has not she lied to the Parliament for saying that she didn't know before the final situation. She didn't know before that. And then she's also, I mean, it's incredible. And she's lied to Parliament. She's not told them the right time. It's now been told by Alex Salmond that Alex Salmond knew who one of the complainers was through Jeff Aberdeen, who had the prior meeting with Nicola Sturgeon, and about 4 other people know who one of the complainers are. And which is obviously against the rules, that nobody should have known who the complainers are. But Jeff Aberdeen, who was the former head of staff for Alex Salmond, knows who one of these complainers are. And then and then Scottish guys, you can't beat them. So they know, 4 people know. Prior to Nicola Sturgeon saying that she knew, 4 people knew. I think it was Jeff Aberdeen, Alex Salmond, Mr. Percival, and Mr. Hamilton QC as well. So 4 people knew prior to this that Nicola Sturgeon knew. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. But Nicola Sturgeon didn't know. I mean, you couldn't write it. You couldn't actually write it. It's beyond a joke of what's actually happened. So Alex Salmond has basically said that she has broken the ministerial code, but then Linda Fabinini said that the Parliament and the committee can't get the legal documentation from the Crown Office to prove whether or not she did actually break the ministerial code by going against the evidence as well. So I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable what's happening. The Crown Office is working rather as a counterweight in a democracy to the government. They're working hand in glove, and it's basically an embarrassment to our country, because the government, the Parliament or the government is using the Crown Office to cover up the government's affairs, in covering up what Alex Salmond has not done, and covering up the documentation to protect their own ass. It's unbelievable. So she will have to resign, and it's just incredible that this is actually going to happen. Incredible. The Parliament now have to force Nicola Sturgeon to give the legal documentation that stated what the legal counsel said to the Parliament. It's not, and which will in turn have to make her resign, although the Crown Office is refusing to give this information, and also redacting the parts of the submission by Alex Salmond stating that Nicola Sturgeon knew and lied to Parliament before the submission was redacted by the Crown Office. Oh, come on. I mean, do they think we're all stupid? This is an embarrassment to our democracy. In fact, this is actually going into an authoritarian regime. This is a breach of democracy. This is nobody being held accountable. This is the Crown working hand in glove with the government to basically thwart Parliament and thwart the actual desires and wills of the individuals, and empower a corrupt regime. It's just, I mean, it's quite incredible. How long can they actually manage to filibuster and not allow the legal documentation? The Crown Office will not release the documents because it will show that they're complicit in the conspiracy. That's correct. That's exactly correct. So they've implicated themselves. There's so many people now involved in this cabal, or this conspiracy, that it's easier now just to lie to obviously, overtly lie to the Scottish people and embarrass the whole country. That's much easier than actually being truthful. This is thwarting our democracy. Thwarting our democracy because of the implications and the actions of Lord Advocate James Wolfe. I mean, that's embarrassment to the law in Scotland. And don't forget, it was James Wolfe that wrote the horrible hate speech bills for Humza Useless.
I think he's packaging Coinpayments around something.
Oh, it's incredible. I've got so much more to tell you guys tonight. We'll go and do a destruct through of the actual what he said in court. But we're not sure if he's coming out. So we're not sure if he's going to come out. We've got all the BBC, Sky, BBC, Channel 4, Sky, BBC. So they're all here.
I'm just a random kid.
and a random kid. So, I mean, it's quite incredible. Quite incredible. Horrendous information. And how can Nicola Sturgeon come next week and say, oh, well, what's the reasons we're not getting the legal documentation, or just because? Or just because, well, we didn't think it was your interest. This is definitely in your interest for you to actually, for us to know as the general public. I mean, so she's able to openly cover up an obvious conspiracy to thwart and pervert the Crown Office, to allow people in the civil service to lie and demean themselves, to get her husband potentially up in perjury, for Liz Lloyd to probably get sacked under her breaking the ministerial code. I mean, how can she go on? How can Nicola Sturgeon go on with this absolute charade? How can she not see that the end? Ruth Davidson said it last night. How can she not see the ending is on the wall, the writing is on the wall, and she's going to have to resign? How embarrassing does this situation have to get before Nicola Sturgeon's going to consider her position? How many Scottish institutions is she going to embarrass to get her to cover up her abusing and trying to put Alex Salmond in jail? I mean, Alex Salmond today in the tribunal was saying this was unlawful. He said it was unlawful, the criminal trial was unlawful and should not have gone ahead. Both the criminal trial and the civil trial. It sounded embarrassing. They were holding back documents. They've been holding back documents all throughout this process. Why are they holding back documents? And what legal redress do we have, what parliamentary or legal redress, when we've got somebody who is compromised in the Crown Office putting forward all of this? Oh, come on. I like dogs, but that's really annoying. So, we've got the added bonus here of kids and dogs. I never worked with kids and animals, apparently. I love both, mind you, but they're fantastic. Go anyway, so, there's other things that are coming out right now which we're not privy to. Alex Salmond is, they're all the journals over there are waiting to try and get a picture of him coming out the side entrance, but I wish Alex had come out and done a speech and he actually told us what was actually said. He should have gone in front of the press and actually just reiterated what was said. Cranky needs to go. Yes, that's it. She's finished. It's absolutely disgraceful. It's disgraceful. Forget if you're inside the SNP or outside. This is not about party political stuff. This is about incompetent governance. This is not about whether you like the SNP or don't like the SNP or like Nicola Sturgeon or don't like Nicola Sturgeon or like Alex Salmond or don't. This is about governmental incompetence and potentially something criminal. And she wanted Alex Salmond to be held accountable for some criminal. Yet she's using the law office to actually prevent the Scottish people actually finding out if she if she actually was to people putting you off on this again, man. Honestly. Guerilla TV, that's the one you want to go on. Guerilla TV channel. So listen, so when so it's just absolutely incredible that they're able to do this. What's the homeless guy looking for? I'm not sure. He's my ideal guy. He's got a walkie-talkie that shouts out, and it's all brilliant. I've no idea. Good guy though, nice guy. So let's try and get my train of thought back. I was concentrating there. So he's now gone through this. Now there's other things that I've not covered and I haven't heard today because I've not heard the full speech. I was I was that random kid. I'm sure we all were at one point. He's gone through other things today. Keep up the good work. No, hey, put a journal. He's doing nothing for Scotland. I hope all true Scots would send him. Yeah, I think so. Apparently she's still riding high in the polls. I mean, I don't know if my fellow Scots are just alluded to this. This is very, very serious. She's acting in a criminal manner. Not even in a, oh, I might have to resign. This is criminal, what she's done, and seen to be criminal actually in a court of law, what they've actually done. He's killing me. He's absolutely killing me. So he's now got. It's now been seen as unlawful. It's now been seen unlawful in the court of law. That's what Alex was saying when he was in front of the tribunal today. This is unlawful, and it's been seen when he's gone through the court process. That's what it was said there. And a potential criminal dictatorship. That's right, it is a criminal dictatorship. That's exactly what it is. There's no checks and balances here. There's no checks and balances for a rogue Lord Advocate who's too embedded with the actual political establishment, who's just denying evidence to the rest of the Parliament. Oh, we're just not going to tell you. Wait. Oh no, we might have these documents, but we're just not going to give it to you. It's to you, the people. These people in here are only your representatives. So ultimately the SNP, and especially the SNP cabal that's running it just now, are refusing to give you the documents. And you guys are being quite placid about it. I would be complaining, guys. I'd be complaining, why are the legal documents to find out if Nicola Sturgeon shirked her responsibility and didn't even shirk her responsibility, didn't give any of this information to the Parliament that they knew was criminal, that they knew what they were doing would have broken the ministerial code, persecuted Alex Salmond by not bringing forward the case that they should never have brought through in the first place. Salmond knocked it out the park. He admitted Scotland not ready for independence under present SNP, which I agree. I'm not against independence, but that's correct. Certainly not under this administration. This administration needs to go. Here's Jim Sellers. Went through Jim Sellers saying that she broke the ministerial code by doing the COVID briefing, which I touched on just earlier. This is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I don't see how she can stay. We can see what she's done. Oh, and she just sits there and shakes her head as if nothing's happening. Would be a brilliant job to keep up the good word. That you do a brilliant job, keep up the good work. Let's hope the SNP fall on their swords. They're not going to fall on their swords. They have got brass necks like brass monkeys. It's absolutely unbelievable. They have got no self-control. Scotland's not broken. The leadership is. That's correct. That's correct. That's it. And I don't agree with any complaints. But this was a failure. This is one ugly building, and this was a failure to bring in a second chamber to hold the primary chamber. I was very surprised at that they didn't bring in an upper chamber here. And that's a failure of this. Checks and balances, and there's no upper chamber here. Some, like Jim Sillars and some of the senior, some of the former MPs as well, and First Ministers, could have been in a second chamber here, and they could have been ratifying legislation. Crown Office not broken, the leadership are Well, I disagree. I think there's certainly something disturbing in the Crown Office, and I would suggest that where's the 2 billion cranky? I think it's 8 billion that's going. Nothing is broken. The leadership is Yeah, I know. I think I don't agree with that. The leadership is definitely broken. The leadership is 100% broken. But Scotland can be independent after they win the World Cup. 2.9 billion. That would be a good challenge. Or Rangers win the European Cup. I think they're playing Prague, aren't they? Prague now. Beat Leicester in the last 16. So I think that's today's announcement. So, I mean, the failure of this to have checks and balances. So there's a deficit in democracy in this institution. We have to get a second chamber. I mean, it's really one ugly building. You can get knocked down and redone to actually input a second chamber here. So it's just, there's no point in actually not having more checks and balances. We need democratic balances. We've got 2 chambers, although obviously the second one down in London's unelected. It still scrutinises up to a point the first chamber, the primary chamber. There is no checks and balances here. It becomes dictatorial because of the fact of the lack of a second chamber here. So, I mean, it can be expanded, knocked down, expanded, and the whole thing could change. Correction, where's the 2.99 billion? That sort of money. GIMP have gone full throttle. CCP, that's right, the GIMP party has gone full throttle. Chinese Communist Party. And that's Nicola Sturgeon's mentality. She's an authoritarian. She's got no... well, I wouldn't say it was a puppet parliament, but it just now has got deficits. It's got democratic deficits that are now being exposed, and we can all see that. Andrew Carr, wee nippy, says no. There needs to be a party coming in to overhaul what this is, get more checks and balances, and the Crown Office should not be telling the Parliament no, that they can't receive documentation that's in line with their work. That should not be happening in connection with the government working hand in glove with the Crown Office to cover up their persecution of Alex Salmond. Because that's what it was. He's been successful from his civil trial and his criminal trial. Yeah, it's starting to look like a banana republic. It's starting to look like it's an embarrassing for the Scots because of Nicola Sturgeon and her covering up in sneaky, nebbishy ways. It's not I don't believe all Scottish politicians or even all of the people in the SNP, certainly the people in just now, are absolutely shocking. I mean, Humza Useless shouldn't be in Parliament. He's just an absolute clown. So what have we got now? So we've got Alex. Well, Alex has been there for a few hours now. We're actually having to find out. We're having to wait and find out if he's going to make a statement. He should be making a statement to the Parliament, in front of the Parliament, with regards to what we all require to know. Is the public required to know this as well? It's not acceptable for us just to be sort of second guess it. World Cup, 2.9 million is down the back of Morell's. I didn't see that, it just went off there. So, I would hope Alex would come out and actually talk to us. It's important that we actually get some sort of interaction from Alex on the back of it. He speaks to the public, although it was on the parliamentary website. I'll go through what's on the parliamentary website and break it down tonight. Because it's just absolutely earth-breaking. I mean, Nicola Sturgeon hasn't got a leg to stand on. she's covering up these crimes, basically. Crimes from her. I'm not talking about Alex Salmond's crimes. I'm talking about the criminality from her administration. It's well past just, oh, did she break the ministerial rules? Should she actually be charged? Should she be charged with criminal conduct? I mean, should we need standalone charges for people who are making false sexual allegations? And if somebody's orchestrated it, should that be a crime in itself? So, I mean, that's just absolutely incredible. It's my pal,
So, I'm doing an interview for Sky. Have you heard of them?
That's them over there.
It's not that way.
Good buddy, good. He's a character, isn't he? So,
Where's your fishing rod?
I just went to zero there. Everybody tuned out simultaneously. So, Alex Salmond should come out and do a speech and actually say what was said in the trial. Just get a quick summation of what we want to know, the press wants to know, and actually find out what it is the Scottish people require to know from the way that this is Scotland's becoming a banana republic, where checks and balances of the democratic process are not working in this parliament, that Nicola Sturgeon can hide documentation, just say I'm not giving you, and not be required to give the actual parliament or the committees the actual underlying documentation. I mean, that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable. Twice, Murdo Fraser has asked the Crown to actually give the documentation that Alex Salmond was discussing today, that would show that the legal entity advised Nicola Sturgeon not to go ahead with the prosecution, which would have broken the ministerial code, which I covered 4 months ago on the Guerilla TV channel, told you she would have to resign. She's just not done it. The office now redacting parts that show other breaches of Nicola Sturgeon in the ministerial code. And it's also going back to this Crown. The Crown is corrupted by a corrupt First Minister. Or a corrupting First Minister. It's certainly broken. I mean, why is she covering it up? If she hasn't broken the ministerial code, why is she using the Crown Office to cover it up? It's bloody disgusting, unbelievable. Exactly. So she's not only... So let me just try and clarify this. She's not only just using the Crown Office for the redactions on Alex Salmond's statement, which says that she's broken the ministerial code, which is now corroborated by Jeff Aberdeen. She's now also using the Crown Office not to give the documentation to the inquiry that would say that she shouldn't have actually brought forward the legal allegations in the first place. So she's covering up and covering up. Oh, nothing to see, open and transparent, nothing to see, nothing to see. We're not just doing the documents. Oh, and she pulls wee faces. Oh, and then her husband is potentially up for perjury. Our lead investigations officer, Leslie Evans, is potentially going to be kicked off for breaches of the Civil Service Code. All of the people who have brought this are all up potentially on charges. But Nicola Sturgeon was kept out of the loop by her own legislation that she brought forward after she found out about this. Oh, come on. They must think we're... Huge day in Scottish politics. I think these guys are all trying to muck up interfere with my streams. Look at this, look at all the press guys, look at this. Should all start shipping in so I can get better equipment. Look at the guys here, look. Got the vans. And it's just me with an iPhone, just a bloke with an iPhone. And I'm still giving you the best commentary. We want to get Alex out. We want to hear a statement. It was very interesting today what was being said, but we we need to find out more about what's actually happening. The SNP and Mrs. Murrell are evil. Well, they certainly are potentially criminal. And definitely, I think we're going to see the end of their reign. Don't forget, Alex Salmond's, Nicola Sturgeon used her COVID briefing through the BBC. Where's the BBC? That's the BBC, one of these mobs here. Through the BBC, and allowed Alex Salmond to be persecuted again by her saying, oh, it might not have been criminal, but he probably did do those things. So he was found innocent in a court of law, and she's still saying that this was happening. I love your tin pan, Davy, very smart. Oh, do you like it? Am I looking good, am I? Somebody else said that as well. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. Anyway, I do my best to keep you entertained. Alex Salmond is now, I mean, it's incredible. He's got an incredible situation going on. Nicola Sturgeon is using COVID briefings to say that, he might not be found, he might be found innocent in a court of law, but he's still guilty. I mean, that's disgusting. That's disgusting for any human being to say that anyway. If he's been found innocent in a court of law, but you can't then sue the people that have made the false allegations, and that has to change as well. These names have been redacted. Some guys get 6 months for speaking about the women that have actually made these allegations. So what happens then? I didn't miss that quote there. You need to rewrite that. So she's allowed to continually say that he's guilty even after him being found. Use national press to say that he's here. Use national press to say that Alex Salmond is still guilty even though he's been found innocent in a course. Davy the Braveheart, thank you very much. In a court of law. So she's allowed to continually say that, use the national media to say Alex Salmond's guilty, he might be found innocent, but he still did it. Who's she to convict him? Does it believe all women even if they lie? Seems to be similarities between the corruption of the FBI's insurance policy to bring down Trump and Sturgeon and her accolades. To bring down Trump, and also they did use the sexual smearing with what's his face. So whose documents to who they were to go to. So the documents were coming from the legal entity that was advising the government. I think it was Mr. Dunlop and Kathleen O'Neill, who were advising the government not to go ahead with either the criminal or the civil prosecutions. And the government won't release the documents that says that. It's shocking, David, as Alex Salmond said, it isn't a trial, it's an inquiry into an unlawful SNP government. That's right, of course it is. You're breaking up, am I? Sorry about that, sorry, oopsie. So the legal entity that was advising Nicola Sturgeon not to go ahead with this, the Nicola Sturgeon, in both trials, she said, I'm going ahead with it anyway. So the first trial was like a dummy trial, so that Alex Salmond was all at sea when they were actually doing forward the complaints thing, and he was having to spend thousands of pounds on that, even though he got back 512,000. The legal fees cost another 76,000 over on the top of that. So that's £76,000 of his money he would have had to spend on that trial. And then he gets a second legal trial. Get there, Davy, out the mafia family, that is the SNP, exactly. And then he had to spend more money on his criminal trial with a new QC to actually protect himself. So Nicola Sturgeon was using the power of the state to actually use to financially destroy him, as well as emotionally, and potentially put him in jail. What a horrible wee monster. What a wee monster. Let's be honest. And then what was happening was that the documentation to say that this should not have been brought forward was then not given to at the Alex Salmond first trial, the civil trial, where he was bringing forward information he wasn't given the documentation saying that this trial shouldn't be brought forward. Lots of things that were hidden from the government's own legal team documents, and then they were given later, and then they can't be given to this. They've been denied to this inquiry, as well as the redacted information from Alex Salmond's complaint, and yet these legal documents have been held back again. And Alex Salmond says that it would show that this should not have been brought forward, which would have been a clear breach of the ministerial code, which I told you 3 months ago. If you look back on the Guerilla TV channel, the main one on the Guerilla TV channel, I told you why she's going to have to resign, and I told you she was going to have to resign, and nothing's changed here. She is going to have to resign. She's an embarrassment to the country. But I was correct as well. I knew it was going to be the legal documents. She's not the Parliament was going to have to force the Crown Office to give these legal documents, use the powers to give the legal documents, and they have to be given at the expense. If they're not given, then they have to be sacked. They have to be absolutely sacked. They have to be sacked. So the Crown Office there has to be some other way of getting rid of the guy from the Crown Office. Did he tell us? I forgot to put it on in the bookies. He did. He did tell us, and I forgot to put it on the bookies. Well, listen, I've called so many things politically correct. It's unbelievable. Even that Donald Trump should have won the American election. They had to cheat. That was one of the ones I got wrong, because I didn't realise the globalists would cheat. But we have to recognise the globalists will do anything, destroy men's lives, destroy anybody to keep them in power and keep the one world agenda going, and which we Nippy is a member of has gone to the Council on Foreign Relations. We already know this. It's documented. We already know that Nippy's a globalist shill, and that's why she's getting protected with other media, unlike me, who's giving you the real information. So, Nicola Sturgeon may well have orchestrated this whole event. So if she's orchestrated the event, then it should be criminal. It should be a criminal matter, and we already know she should be going to trial. She should be going to jail, and if all the other people in the actual orchestration should also be facing criminal charges, not just for the fact that she has done that, but I mean, obviously on the back of that she'll be resigning, and everybody else is resigning. Can she ride it out? Can she actually prevent or not actually ride it out and not actually just wave out because because the independence is still popular? Well, I think that could be possible, unless there can be pressure put on to get the legal documents from the Crown Office. There must be ways to actually use the Parliament and use the non-SNP governmental people in the Parliament to force the Crown to give over these documents. The Crown should not be stopping this. I would be amazed if you went into that cow shed dressed like Cromwell and started shouting. Do you think I should be the Cromwell, guys? Do you think I should be the historical figure? Is it time? This will end the SNP if she is found out, but I fear she'll wrangle her way out. Well, she's using the Crown Office, any documentation coming out. She's using the Crown Office as her own personal lawyer to prevent any documentation coming into the legal, the parliamentary realm, so that she can be held accountable. So of course she's going to be able to do it. And this is why Alex Salmond needs to come out and do a statement live here and actually speak to the people directly. It's not acceptable and answer questions about this and about the lack of democratic accountability that she has got and that she has actually provided from this structure of democracy that we have inside. let's admit it, the SNP think democracy's a luxury. Davy, you know the cops will not have the balls to arrest her, and others SNP characters. Of course, I think well, the Crown Office, the police are losing their impartiality and they're becoming thought police. This is not acceptable. Humza Useless's bill, hate bill, criminalising actors and actresses. Now, what a clown. Will the appellate community of the House of Lords intervene? What the Westminster government needs to do, is recommend a public inquiry into what's happened here. They don't have to set it up. Well, they don't have to set it up, but what they need to do is actually say the MPs, whether it's Tory or anybody else, has to say that we want a public inquiry into what's actually happened here. For democracy, we require a public, an independent judge, a judge-led inquiry into what's the whole procedures here, because it's not acceptable for democracy. They've been saying, I saw Colin Fox last night, and they've been saying X, Y, and Z. Davy for Justice Minister. Well, I've certainly done a better job than Humza Useless, let's be honest. So, a foreign judge-led inquiry into what's happening here, not picked by the SNP. Police Scotland are only able to pick on easy targets like myself with traumatised PTSD and depression anxiety. That's right, they seem to be picking on the weakest in society. That's what Ruth Davison. Davy, yes, public inquiry. Davy for Women and Equality Minister. Yeah, I love the women, so I love that. So I like to see in a healthy way. Yeah, to be honest with you, we're not having enough sex as well. We've got a declining population, and we need to have more sex, not less, not complicating men and women's issues even more. But a lot of this has been used for political power, and it's been manipulated because there's no checks and balances. If somebody lies, agree therefore the way to get her out and all her pals. Yeah, the way is to put pressure. It's now to put pressure on your party, on your MSPs, and get pumping. That's right. That's it. Well, you need to get pumping. That's it. Getting strong relationships, strong and stable relationships, and get pumping in them. That's going to be it. And and so that's it. So we need it comes unstuck when we get the legal entities information and find out what the government has said. Has the government how much activity outside the Parliament? David, do you want me to go for a walk? Do you want me to go and see what we can do? See? Come on then, let's go for a wee walk. I'll try as much as I can. Yeah, it's going good, guys. Going well. Guerilla TV channel. Breaking up, guys, so I'm just going to stay. I'm going to stay away from these guys. Thank you. So, yeah, there's a few journals actually waiting from 7 o'clock that this is going to finish. I don't know if it's still breaking up, guys. It's spinning right, but lost connection there, so we'll be doing that again. I think it's going to finish. So the inquiry asked to go over time. So the actual time was given, and it was said that they were going to go over the time today. So it could be going to 7 o'clock. I'm back. That's great, guys. Thanks for letting me know. Let me know if time is.
What's your YouTube channel?
Guerilla, Guerilla.
Right, just Guerilla.
TV channel. So 7 p.m. Yeah, 7 p.m. So it's obviously going very late. They obviously want to try and dig into Alex Salmond's evidence. But what this is throwing up is deficits in our democratic process in the Scottish Parliament. The failure of bringing in a second chamber at the outset of this, to me, was questionable as well. The purpose of the second chamber is for checks and balances against the primary chamber. And we've obviously seen now there's too much power for Nicola Sturgeon, and she seems to be becoming erratic and authoritarian. She seems to be not getting the word out, Davy. The youngsters see through the SNP. Well, certainly the youngsters like me, because I'm fantastic, as you know. So they've got checks and balances, and that's what's missing in the mental democratic structure: checks and balances formed by the use of a second chamber. And I don't know who's judge. Somebody said it to me the other day. There, I think it was one of you, clever baby gorillas. Who judges the judges? Who's holding the judges in check? What counterbalance does the average person have to the judges? How are they accountable? Can you sack a judge? I don't know that. Can you sack a judge? Who decides if a judge is going to get sacked? What does a judge have to do to get sacked? Does he have to be as incompetent as this judge? Or I don't even know whether he's incompetent, but Kavanagh, exactly. I had to come through a process, a democratic process. Who watches the watchman, exactly? So where do we get that from? Where are we getting that from? Where's the check and balance against the judges running amok just now? So we need there's major issues that have now come out of this. And Alex said something today as well that was very interesting. If Alex Salmond had gone to jail, if one of those had stuck and Alex Salmond had gone to jail, there would be no inquiries just now. Nicola Sturgeon would still be able to be a wee dictator, and there'd be no press here. Nothing would have happened. No inquiries, not the Fabinini, not the Hamilton inquiry, which are all investigating Nicola Sturgeon's incompetence and her inability to handle the procedure accurately. I mean, it's absolutely mind-blowing. And yet she's riding it out. Oh, look at that. Oh, what about you going down to the House of Lords? Oh, Ruth Davidson. Oh, what about Alex Salmond still? He touched all the women. Yeah, get in there. Breaking up. Am I breaking up? Hello, Davey. Looking dapper. Thanks, Michelle. Let me see if we can get a better signal here, guys. So, she's all, isn't she? Oh, look over there. Oh, look. Oh, I'm a wee bouncy thing. Oh, French girlfriends. Fantastic. And not holding herself to account. She's morally bankrupt. Now, morally bankrupt. If she's orchestrated this, she should be going to jail, shouldn't she? There shouldn't be any doubt that there should be prosecutions against her. David was not Alex Salmond and me Cranky who actually set up her. No, it wasn't. It was a Labour guy. I'll come back to me. Dewar, they set it up. I missed that about the New World Order. Say it again. So. And who would actually then, what police force is going to say, yeah, we're going to arrest the First Minister for orchestrating false sexual allegations? But will she's slippery people. How are you going? Going good. I'm going good, thanks. So who's going to arrest her? Is the Crown Office going to arrest her? Is the police going to arrest her for making false allegations and orchestrating false sexual allegations? Because, missed that. So I mean, who's got the power to arrest her? Who's going to? She just said, I guarantee I've got way more views than the mainstream. The mainstream. They'll come. Who's going to arrest her? Is there going to be internal? Is there a police force? Is that? This guy's going to arrest her apparently. This could be the new Cromwell here. Get her in the gulag. The police are in her pocket, of course they are. Well, she's running the show. So who's the counterbalance to Nicola Sturgeon becoming completely authoritarian and unhinged? Who's the counterbalance to that? It's certainly not this committee, which you can just redact the information and then it's not going to be put through the committee. Oh, but I'm open and transparent. Oh, I'm openly transparently not redacting information. I'm openly and transparently not giving my legal team the information. Oh, I'm open, transparent, open and transparent. Oh, rubbish. It's nonsense, isn't it? Absolutely nonsense. And now now what have they got? They've now got the fact that she can't. I mean, I'm getting frustrated for words here because it's so absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. How is she going to explain why she's not given legal documentation to the Parliament? Where's the explanation there? I want to play a game of Jobby in the cowshed. Oh dear. I should just storm it, shouldn't I? I should just go in. Peacefully protest inside about on behalf of the Scottish people. Get out, get out, get out. That's that. See, she's on my side. People are on my side. The people are on my side. It should be Cromwellian. She shouldn't even make her own COVID briefings today. Too busy watching for her living room while she lets Jean Freeman. That's it. Oh, I didn't know that. Police should be on their way to her home as we speak. There's a picture of, I think it's an older picture, of the James Wolfe and Leslie Evans and Nicola Sturgeon and Morell all sitting around watching TV and watching Alex Salmond. Stasi would arrest her because they... So this just shows you when something goes wrong at the top of a political party or a political entity, when they become increasingly authoritarian and out of touch, how do you get rid of them? What does it take for them to have to stand down to stop their authoritarianism? I mean, she's obviously got no self-awareness, so she's just prepared to ride it out and ride it out. It's incredible what's come out. There is no reason for her to still be in power anymore. She should start campaigning to arrest. I know, but who's going to arrest her? Are the police going to arrest her? Are the police going to stand up and do the proper job? Nikki Stasi, the usual suspects line up, exactly. So it's the police, the Crown Office, and are all in her pocket, and they're not being objective. They're not objective now. The separations between the Crown Office and the government have not been strong enough where the actual legal entity have got powers of arrest of a corrupt leader or a corrupting leader. All they need to go. So all they need to go. They all need to go. Yeah, they all need to go. All need to resign. If they had any morality, they would resign. Davey, give old Lizzie a wave across the palace. Where is old Lizzie? Where's old Lizzie? So I don't know where old Lizzie is. Is that old Lizzie there? She looks a bit young for being old. Anyway, old Lizzie. Oh, there's old Lizzie there. That's your turn about the Parliament, the Holyrood. So, absolutely unbelievable. Who's going to judge the judges? Who's going to police the police? How do you take down a corrupt First Minister in a legal, ethical way? Don't vote for her, I guess, next in May. I think that must be it. It's just absolutely mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. So, a friend here saying Nicola Sturgeon's just saying there's conspiracy theories, amalgamation of the police force years ago, and now they are easier to control. Exactly, it's completely top down. The Bruins. So what Nicola Sturgeon, what the gentleman was saying there was saying that they're just Nicola Sturgeon saying everybody's peddling conspiracy theories. Oh, with conspiracy theory that you've got the Crown to redact information on Alex Salmond. the conspiracy theory that you've not given the legal documentation to the Parliament. I mean, did she think we're stupid? Is this? Are we all stupid? We all know that what she's doing. She's conspiring. She's the conspiracy. It's not a theory. The only theory is that we can all see where everything is getting redacted and covered up and what's actually happened. We can see that. That is the point. We can actually see the cover-up. Unfortunately, the Tories and the SNP are two cheeks of the same dirty bum. That's right. That's right. Don't vote for them. Scottish Libertarian Party, UK Reform Party, let's get something different. Conspiracy theory, you're getting too close to the truth, so let me shut you down. Exactly. And just call everybody crazy, wacky and conspiratorial. We've all seen it. We all know what's happening. It's not even a conspiracy theory. She's doing things that is open to the public. So we can all see. We can all see her using the Crown Office to prevent this. We can all see her using the Crown Office to redact information, give us a wave. We can all see this behind you. I'm behind you, and we are all seeing the prevention. The prevention of what she's doing is not a conspiracy. It's obvious. We know it's getting redacted. We know that she's covering up the legal advice. We know she's just covering her ass, obviously. And if it wasn't a conspiracy, then just let the legal advice go. Let it out. What's the point in actually covering up the legal advice if there's nothing to be seen, if it's a conspiracy? I mean, it's just nonsense, guys. It's nonsense. Oh dear. I'm going to leave it. It's that aye. You're right, Davey. Totally unbelievable. She sticks her head in the sand and hopes no one sees. Where are you going? Are you? Right, my baby grills. I'll be back later on. Do you want me to stay or do you want me to go? my pal wants me to stay. Right, do you want me to stay? Rather, Ruth called her out. Good. Ruth called her out. And Ruth was incredibly effective. It's a bit of a shame. Ruth is probably, regardless, I don't politically agree with Ruth, but Ruth is certainly, see you soon. Ruth is probably one of the best political performers, and she was certainly calling her out there. She's been building it up and building it up. This girl's about to give me flowers. She's been building it up and building it up. And yeah, it's only a matter of time now. Only a matter of time. Only a matter of time. She's got to go. Stay, you want me to stay? I agree. I like her, but not politically. Ah, yeah. But she's a very good operator. I admire people politically because they're a great operator or they've got some great ideas. They've got, and Ruth was really taking Nicola to task, and Nicola was just doing this stuff with her eyes like a child. Where's the legal documents, Nicola? Oh, I can't believe you're going to the House of Lords. I mean, it was childlike, childish. It's now time to have adult conversations about where the actual legal documentation is. Nikki had the cheek to character assassinate Ruth in Parliament. That's right. Trying to say, oh, I can't believe you're going to the unelected House of Lords. Oh, what a cheek, what a nerve. I was surprised she didn't try and become an MP, Ruth Davison. I would have thought that would have been the first port of call. I would be very interested to know why she's going to the House of Lords. Her eyes gave her away. Blinks, McBlinks. Hiya, buddy.
Are you doing it now?
I'm doing live streaming.
It's me.
It's my
I
first.
sort of think, bugger Alex, bugger Nicola, let's stand for Scottish independence.
Ruth, that's right, buddy. Ruth is well aware.
Can we see Ruth? Oh, we weren't talking to Ruth.
Oh, really?
Oh, you just seen we were watching you.
Hiya. No, I can't.
Talking about getting your live stream hijacked. Oh my goodness.
Sorry.
What fiend time this, eh?
Me and her, sorry, I'm going to
Oh, that's all right. Right, I'm running out of charge anyway here. So always good in the middle of your job, just some random coming up and actually wanting to talk to the public. Anyway, so Ruth was actually taken to task, and she's just looking away and, oh no, what's going on? Oh, I don't know what's going on. She's not been held accountable. She has to start being held accountable. The parliamentarians should be doing more to do this. The Lib Lab Con Party have been very weak. Humza useless. I know Anis Sarwar might be coming. Thanks very much. Thanks for the real news. Thanks very much. Anis Sarwar might be becoming the Islamo-fascist, might be becoming in charge of the Labour Party, the anti-white racist. Unbelievable. That just shows you how far down Labour have gone. But we would really like to speak to Alex. Alex is always welcome to the Guerilla TV channel. You don't get this on the BBC, certainly do not. Been time at the zoo here. Good laugh though, it's funny. And we want to speak to Craig Murray. So Craig Murray's been rejected by the mainstream media, and we want to get Craig Murray about his persecution by Nicola Sturgeon. Sam Tactics New World Order has been using for years. That's right, correct. Runs Destroys Canada, of course. I'm sexually touched up. Some guy touched me up 20,000 years ago. In a bed. I was in the bed. Where was the bed? Don't know where. Yeah. Do a polygraph test. If you fail, you go to jail. That's the way to deal with the New World Order. If you fail your polygraph says you fail, you go to jail. Sorry.
If you fail, go to jail. But you're a journalist. You can't tell the truth. That's the thingy.
My man here thinks I can't tell the truth.
Well, he's a journalist.
I'm in the middle of something though. And I'm telling the truth. Do you think Nicky? Thanks, Mike. Do you think Nicky will enforce resignation?
Sorry.
So he's obviously not watched the Guerilla TV channel. I'm the only one telling the truth. I'm sorry. It's right. I'm bringing the truth back to journalism. So. I missed that last comment. Redo that last comment, guys. I've not got a running tally of the comments. I didn't see it. So, as you know, I stand here through thick and thin with all sorts of characters coming up. It's been all now you wee character. Dogs barking, kids going past, waving, and the stream has been hijacked. So funny. Here's my king.
Hi there, I'm King James, the Lord, Son of Father God. I made my name all over that and get 10 weeks in Salmond prison.
Did you?
Aye, and I caught on.
Is that true? Oh my God. You can tell me your story. Kieran tells your story.
Aye, you want it? Do you know I was wrong? I'm from Glasgow.
Move here. Right. Move there.
Here? Do you know I'm from Glasgow and I get 2.5 years for a breach of the peace?
What?
For writing a letter, honest to God.
No, you need to tell it. You're right. Listen, slow down and just tell us exactly. Tell us the story. Tell us how it starts. Tell us the story.
I've wrote it in poetry, right, and this is it, right. I was wrongly convicted and then evicted from my house up in the old Bilson Drive, Glasgow, Mother Mary Hull. And Motherwell, I'm not feeling very well educated at this sad moment of my heartbroken homeless lifetime that I spend pounding these dull lamppost bar streets of Glasgow's toughest house of schemes of Europe, looking for a way out the scheming devil advocate system of perverts who pervert the internet course of God's Scottish justice. And there's never a dull moment when I'm feeling lousy, housing screaming to the Far Easter House boys and girls in the game, prostitution. Tonight watch out for a not so nice fight squad. I bent detectives like Charlie and sex drug control in the Masons Blue Triangle. That George Street wise old paedophile bastard of an ex-American president of a bar used in prison. Homeless people in death row, uneducated or bright enough to see where the hell I was coming from. His Duke Street prison that was like the Great Eastern Hotel that's now been done up Masonic eyeballs with a facelift behind the mask of a grand old Duke of Edinburgh's high and mighty constables, because there's more to them than meets the London Eye, a Prince Philip, the Queen's Park Head Ranger, Charlie Chaplin Charge of the Roman Catholic Church of Scotland, England, Ireland, Wales. The gay Charlie Foxtrot chased me all over my King James Park, and that was to try and dock my father George's bushy tail, a home-truth paedophile politics, a Sir Cyril Smith's bent, corrupt paedophile politics system. And Alex Salmond and Sturgeon are the big fish who have been caught hook, line and sinker. They've been living caviar lifestyles and now they're gutted because I, from a Blue Lagoon town in Glasgow, know the Friars get a chip on his shoulder, Super Mario Conti.
That was excellent, buddy.
You do something like that.
You've gone out live.
I'm on.
You went out
I'm
live.
on.
And
It's
that
not
was
TV, is
excellent. No, you're on the internet.
Well, good on you. I'm in the hostel and I'm on YouTube, right? Look up Battle of the Poets, right?
That was excellent.
I've got another one, right, and it's called Don't Lose Your Y-I-R Templar. So it's Don't Lose Your Templar.
That's excellent,
And
mate.
another one, Kings and Princes. And I'm looking for help. I'm in the Salvation Army.
Ah,
I'm getting black
subscribe to
eyes.
him.
I try and get in touch for that. I'm getting black eyes because I'm sticking up for people, and the people that work in there, they're no Christians or anything. They're terrible. They don't know how to handle like drinking drug addicts, and they pick on you, and they're Christians as well. I get caught spilling milk on my carpet, and the black boy, you call him Rambo and Pope, he was up there, he's getting onto me and started getting angry, and I says, it's no use start crying over spilt milk. I'd shut my door on him because I knew he was trying to get me to give him abuse.
That's brilliant.
I'm too old for that.
Right,
I'm 57-year-old.
Well, I think you did very well.
I
thought
love
was
the way
excellent.
I thought your speaking was brilliant. I was trying to get notes because that's what I do. You know,
I thought you were excellent.
James,
Excellent, buddy.
that's Sky News.
Right, hold on. Let me continue with this guy so the people watching. That was excellent though. That was yeah, that was great. Well, it's up on, isn't it?
I was on Sky News with Alex Salmond. I was in the background and I had on my T-shirt, I am the doctor. But I couldn't say much because I was kind of getting threatened with people. So no, look, but it's just people.
Who?
The
There
policeman.
was nobody there.
The policeman took
Right,
my big
right,
box off me.
Right. So
Get it properly.
So-
You say the people threatened you because there was nobody on the street.
It was the police that threatened me.
Sorry,
They took my
I'm
big
just-
box
Oh,
off
right.
me and my wee megaphone, and I couldn't say nothing
Aye,
because
but
they've got the mics.
well, it's
and
coming increasingly authoritarian. I can't
Oh,
believe I'm
yeah.
hearing this. Who was she? I'm just wetting myself here. I know, it's what a lovely guy, what a talented guy, mate.
King James.
What's your name?
King James.
King James. What's your YouTube channel?
Well, it's YouTube, right, and it's called Battle of the Poets.
Battle of the Poets. Subscribe
Right.
to me, man.
And then it's like I've got another one called Kings and Princes. But
Well,
with
Kings
an
and
N.
Princes.
Yeah,
Kings and Princes.
and Princes. Look.
Kings and Princes is his other one. But that's excellent, mate.
And the other one is Don't Lose Your Templar.
I'll let him find
And
out.
it's me
Just put it in the
acting.
subscribes. Right. So this is unbelievable. This is absolutely unbelievable that this is still going on. This is unbelievably.
We're proud to be British, but we won't say nothing.
But this is unbelievable.
Hey,
This is unbelievable.
the crowd's got
That this is going to do. This is going to happen.
something about Parliament. The crowd's got Hey, you're all what? Hiding in corners. Hey, I'll be in front of your cameras when you're doing your thing. Hey, what? This is Scotland. These are all British. Go home. But I hear that. British means UK. What does UK mean? England. Hey? Oh, sorry. Can we not do this? This is the media hiding in corners. What? They can't even describe what it's like. I'm asking them, describe what it's like to be
Is Alex
British.
left
You're
the
not
fucking
being corners.
Jesus Christ,
Hey?
man.
We're all meant to be intelligent. Gee whiz.
So, I like a protest as much as the next guy, but sometimes it's difficult to hear yourself speak. So, I don't know what time this is going to finish. I'm not quite sure. I mean, they're saying 7 o'clock, so it's obviously going on for a period of time. Over the hours, I'll be quite interested to know next week how long Nicola Sturgeon's going to last in front of the camera. But to me, it's beyond the pale. We want to hear you. Fantastic! Thanks very much. Thanks very much. There was a lot of background noise there, but I mean, it's incredible. And so the question is, how is the Parliament going to force the Crown Office, if the Crown Office are not prepared to give out their information, give the information to the Parliament, how is the Parliament going to be able to force that? How are the Parliament, thanks very much, dear lad, awesome, brilliant. How are the Parliament going to be able to force the Crown Office to actually give the information to the rest of the Parliament and its entity to make a conscious decision? What do you think the fallout of today will be? The fallout today is the Parliament is going to have to force Nicola Sturgeon and the Crown Office to give the legal documentation that said that this should not be put forward. So this whole thing has become an absolute shower. An absolute shower. This has become unbelievable. Unbelievable. And it's really to find out whether or not Alex Salmond is going to actually come out now and actually speak to us with regards to what he's actually saying. And I don't know if he's going to do it. I have no idea if he's going to come out, but I don't know how long this is going to take for them to continue in here. And that's a real problem as well. How long is it going to take for them to actually find out what Alex Salmond has told them? Who holds the Crown Office to the account? Exactly who holds it, and who is an equivalent branch in Westminster? In Westminster, in the second chamber in the Lords, there are legal entities, legal people in the Lords as well. There's the Supreme Court that Tony Blair set up, which is a sort of political thing that really has to be taken away. So there's a Supreme Court and down in England, and I don't know if think cases from Scotland can be referred to the Supreme Court. That would take out, if they could do that, that would take out the Crown Office in Scotland. I don't know if that's possible, or the European Court of Human Rights. Maybe it could be referred to there to take out, to stop it happening, to stop them stop preventing the government from giving the legal documentation to the Parliament. There could be a requirement for an inquiry, a judge-led inquiry. So there's a number of issues or a number of things that they could do to actually try and use legal ways to try and make sure that Nicola Sturgeon does the democratic thing. I mean, it's obvious that she's covering up. She's covering up Hamilton was an arse and Salmond blew it out the park, did he? I can't wait. Tonight I'll do a total deconstruct on him sitting. So I'll go through the Scottish Hollywood TV and do a total deconstruct on it, and try and break it down for everybody as well. But we need a public inquiry into who actually said what to whom and where the documents are and why these documents weren't provided and why these were. It was almost as if the first trial about the civil matter was just a distraction, and the main trial was going to be the criminal trial. And it was set up there that Alex Salmond had to pay tens of thousands of pounds for the petition trial, and then he would have to pay other thousands of pounds for the secondary trial. Do you think a notion could be voted in to reform the blind Scottish Parliament? I think you need to be careful not to throw a amount of broadcast equipment there is, and looking very smart. I've only got a phone, and now you can see all the guys' equipment's all there. And there's the other guys over there. And I'm a guy with a mobile phone and a tripod and a battery, and it just shows you what can be done with limited resources. It's about the content and the quality of the broadcast, and sometimes that's what happens. Going out to more people now on YouTube than you would the main media is going out on there. Very expensive equipment based broadcasts. and you can literally do it now. I'm not even using my own Wi-Fi. I'm using somebody else's Wi-Fi. So I get virtually no costs here. The cost of a phone is 4K broadcasting, and the only thing that you would probably want on this is some sort of better dedicated upload link off the phone to secure your upload. And there has been problems on the past with uploads, so having a secure upload link would probably be the best thing for me just now, or some sort of designated Wi-Fi upload link that would just hang out the phone, and maybe even so that would be about the only beneficial things. Probably a mic as well. I should have brought the mic, but this is just incredible, absolutely incredible what Alex Salmond has said. And to me, I mean, all she does is say, "Oh, it's a conspiracy theory," but it looks like a conspiracy. It doesn't look like a theory. We can all see you covering up things. Amazing live stream camera quality, Davey. Is it great? I was just thinking this. I put it on the 4K part of it. It's an iPhone 10 on the 4K quality, and I mean, it's probably as good as you're going to get out of one of these more expensive cameras. It's not obvious. It's still a phone but the link sometimes be a problem. Better quality of picture for you guys. But it's quite incredible to have that ability to move so easily with just a tripod and a phone. It's just absolutely incredible. So you can do it, and you can make a difference in very small way, and you can be the journalist as well. Wonder if I should go over and say hello to my friend Mr. Matthews. Do you think there will be media frenzy with Salmond leaving at 7 p.m? When will he give an announcement? I don't think he'll give an announcement, which is a real shame. I wish he was going to give an announcement. Will we go over and see if we can talk to the media? I don't want to see if I bust my signal with you guys. If the signal goes off, just stay on. I might reconnect, but if the signal goes off, let's see what James is saying. I think James Matthews is over here. And let's see if we can't actually talk to James. Hiya buddy, how you doing?
Oh, hiya.
Hi guys, how are you? Are you enjoying it? Was it good?
I'm the waterman. You said look behind us.
How's that you guys? What's the dog?
Oh, you're wet.
Are you busy, James? You went? I was just going to congratulate. I thought your article the other day there was excellent.
Oh, thanks very much.
It was a cracker. I was watching that. I just wanted to come over and say that as well.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm
Really
being
good.
such a-
No, it's all right. On you go.
know,
If you're busy, but is Alex going to come out and do an announcement? Don't think so.
I don't know.
That's fine. Thanks, Alex. So, just saw James did a very good article the other day there, and it's great. Let's go and have a wee chat with the guys. Hey guys, have you had any word there's going to be an announcement?
In the public domain, some of which you have announced.
I don't know if you were seeing that, guys, but I was able to see the very nice guys were showing us the thing there, and yeah, very interesting. Breaking up in the Wi-Fi I'm using here, and if I'm not within the sort of designated area, I don't actually get to use the Wi-Fi, so it's a bit of a strange one down here, almost like a hotspot. So what the guys were saying, I was just over there speaking to James Matthews, did a very interesting article there with yeah, I think it's going to be there. Will execute, will they execute? Don't miss. Well, I missed that there. I'll try and have a wee look at what you were saying, the bits I missed as well. So I don't know whether to stay down here. I don't know if he's going to do it. Still, he's actually still giving evidence just now. So I don't actually know for the rest of the time, and going to say anything. Obviously, the guys are all standing up there, just looking for a photograph. That's back. That's good. Well, that's good. They're obviously standing in the right place then. So, but nice guys as well. Nice guys. Even though the journals get a bit of flack, they're actually nice people. All very pleasant. So we don't know if Alex is going to come out now. We don't think he is. It's doubtful that he's going to make a speech or anything. You guys, he's not coming out, is he? He's not making an announcement? Don't think so. All the journals look like they're packing up. He's not going to make an announcement. He's still in there to 7 o'clock. They're all obviously away home for their tea. And what we might just do is do a deep dive into all the stuff, because there was some really interesting interaction between Margaret Mitchell, Murdo MacDonald and Alex Salmond as well today. But the difficulty that we've got is what's going to be the outcome of it. So okay, the inquiry comes and goes, but if she just filibusters the information that would have been relevant to her getting sacked because she's breached the ministerial code, because she's abused the Crown Office, and that she should have resigned, and because she's got the Crown Office to redact it or hold back information, and she's not resigning when she should have resigned, then what's checks and balances there? I mean, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable, guys. This is certainly the most interesting things that are going to be happening over the next period of time, to find out the democratic deficits that we're going to have in our Scottish Parliament, and find out what changes are required for our Parliament to actually change, so that there are checks and balances, both for the judiciary, and there has to be an overhaul of the judiciary, and also in here in the Parliament for checks and balances in the Parliament. This has shown weaknesses in our democratic system, and that there has to be a party that comes and actually challenges and changes those democratic weaknesses, and brings in checks and balances. Oh, I don't even know whether I want to stay or go home just now. All the guys are all packing up, and it looks like there may be no announcement. Alex might be coming out this way. She's waggled her finger around the whole legal system, corrupted to it's corrupted. It's been corrupted because that she's decided to corrupt it. Yes, would suit a good gent's hat. You would suit a good gent's hat. Like Georgie Porgy Galloway and Adora. I could get one of those helmets for like a night, and or I could just become Cromwellian and just paint myself Cromwellian before I march into the Parliament and tell everybody to get out. Guys, I love you guys. I hope you had an enjoyable time there, and wish we had a wee bit more input. I might come back down later on when I watch the rest of Alex's evidence, on the off chance that I can catch him at 7 p.m. I look over the water. My wee pals. And so I may come back at 7 o'clock, and then I'll come back and have a chat with you guys, and see if Alex comes out. But if he may just sneak out, and it may be a bit of a waste of time. If that happens later on tonight, I'll do a deep dive on the whole of what's been said today in Scottish Parliament, and you can tune in there. I love my baby gorillas. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. It was pretty crazy and good fun at the same time.
Oh, sorry, I was taking it. It's all right now.